You can start now. Hello.
Good afternoon. Good
Yes,
afternoon,
sir.
everybody. And I thank you for giving such a long introduction for me. I am a small person, and that long introduction is actually not may not be uh, fitting for me. However, I thank you
Okay,
for
sir.
giving such a
It's not a.
nice welcome.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
I will start my presentation. I will share the entire screen. Is it visible? My screen is visible. I have shared my screen.
Sorry, not yet, sir. I,
See, I find it disabled when I say share.
okay, sir. Just
That
a minute,
is
sir.
not enabled.
Just a minute, sir.
You have to enable. You have to permit me.
Yes, sir. Please check now, sir.
1 minute. No, I can't share my screen.
Is it done? Is it happening, sir?
No. Fluid flow equation, because it is a CFD course. So CFD, about the CFD and its formulation of CFD equations, how to handle the CFD code. I think the course has already deliberated on that. The issue I want to talk is about how to incorporate the structural deformation, structural analysis into it. Here are two parts: fluid flow and structures. In fluid flow, there are the fundamental equations, the conservation laws, or the mass conservation law, momentum conservation law, as well as energy conservation also. I am here only talking about mass conservation and momentum conservation, because mostly in the field where I work is hydrodynamics, and energy we don't deal with. But in totality, that energy is also there. So here I say that in fluid flow, there are mass conservation equation and momentum conservation equation. From mass conservation, I get continuity equation, and from momentum conservation, I get uh, Navier-Stokes equation, or the momentum conservation equation. But just a small feedback from all the participants. It is visible to you. You can hear me. It's okay. Shall I continue?
Yes, yes, sir. You can, sir. It's okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, so this equations, if you see, continuity equation, it starts with a unsteady term and then the convective terms. The same with momentum conservation also. There are unsteady terms and convective terms and diffusive terms, and then the source terms. Uh, so to explain it in bit elaborate way, one equation along x direction I have written in a elaborate way. This is in a vector form. So if you see that equation in vector form, it includes the momentum conservation in all the three directions. So momentum conservation along x-axis, y-axis, z-axis, all three are included in the first equation. Just to elaborate, to get a feel, you get a sense of the equation, I just elaborated this equation along x direction. So your first term is coming dou u dou t of rho u, so which is actually the unsteady term in it. You see, in this entire equation there is no t, so only one t here. And then the next term is the convective terms. This is represent the convection in the flow. Then I have a pressure gradient term, dou p dou x, and then these are the diffusive terms. They are coming from the shear stress of fluid flow, and this shear stress is again related to velocity field with a constitutive relation, and this constitutive relation is given below. So this tau term, that shear stress term, they are actually can be expressed in terms of velocity again. And you see these are actually one order derivative of velocity terms. So tau is in the term of dou u dou x. So that means dou tau dou x is actually a double derivative of velocity. So this entire diffusive terms, which I call diffusive terms, this is happening because of the diffusion in the fluid flow, and the diffusive terms are the second order differentiation of the velocity term. So this is in essence, and then the last term is the some forces in x direction. So this force is actually see in momentum equation, force is a source of momentum. So, because Newton's second law of motion is say that mass is a mass into acceleration is force. So the force is creating momentum. So force is a source in momentum equation. So this is the momentum equation, and this momentum equation actually says about the balance of my unsteady terms, that is the momentum generated inside my fluid element, and the convective terms, because of the flow, the momentum is coming into say my fluid element. And so this equation states about the unsteady part, the generation of momentum, and due to the flow, convective flow, and the diffusive flow, and the forces, which is actually a source of momentum. So it states about the balance of the momentum, and that is popularly known as Navier-Stokes equation in the fluid flow. So what I want to make you conversant with the fluid flow equation, that there is a mass conservation equation and there is a momentum conservation equation, as well there is energy conservation equation, which I have not listed here. So if this is my flow equations, and for turbulent motion, now Majumdar sir is here in front of Majumdar sir. I think nobody should speak anything about turbulence. So, and Majumdar sir must have taken the classes on turbulent flow. I have learned this turbulence from him only. So this is the turbulent flow, how we treat the turbulent flow. In RAMS, I just given the formulation of RAMS here. But instead of going into the turbulence formulation, I come back to the governing equations again. That fluid flow equations I have seen, and along with that, in fluid structure interaction, I need to solve the structural governing equation also. So this fluid structure interaction will happen in any modern flow, any modern analysis. Flow is always same, but in the modern analysis, earlier we were not doing fluid flow analysis because maybe our capacity was not there, computational as well as the formulation of the equations were not there. But now with advanced engineering and advanced technologies, fluid flow with structure, that is fluid structure interaction, has come as an engineering requirement. And in many cases, like you want to solve a aerostat, some flapping foils, some very elastic body, deforming elastic body. It can be actually our biomechanics also, our cardio valves are also treated with fluid structure interaction, and the fluid flow there inside the arteries of our veins of human body is also treated with fluid structure interaction, including the blood vessels, which is a structure and which can deform, and the deformation also affects the fluid flow. So here just I want to say that in fluid structure interaction, see the additional thing what we have to look for fluid structure interaction is that when fluid in motion, there will be some surrounding walls near about. So these walls can be rigid. If they are rigid, then fluid can be solved independently. That there is no fluid structure interaction. So in your fluid analysis, you will come across many type of flow, and all the flows will involve somewhere some wall. That can be a turbine blade, your wall can be a dam, your wall can be a propeller, your wall can be a aircraft wing, it can be a automobile body. So as long as these walls are rigid, so we can consider it a rigid wall, and it is not deforming, and it is not influencing the flow. It is not interacting with the flow. It is of course influencing. That wall will have an influence, that there will be no flow normal to the wall, as well as for viscous flow, you can say that there will be no flow tangential to the wall also. That is a no slip boundary condition. If that is happening, as long as it is a rigid wall, we need not consider any interaction. But as soon as the wall becomes flexible, and because of the fluid flow, wall deforms, that deformation in turn affects the fluid flow. So if the deformation in turn affects the fluid flow, the velocities, pressure inside the fluid flow will get adjusted accordingly. Now, if the fluid flow has changed, because the fluid flow has changed, the pressure imparted on the structure is also changed. And because pressure imparted on the structure has changed, its deformation is also changed. So if this deformation is also changed, then this your geometry of the fluid flow, bounding geometry of the fluid flow is changed. And because the bounding geometry of the fluid flow is changed, then the fluid flow is again changed. So that is the interaction between fluid and structure. And that is the fluid structure interaction we are discussing here. So in this, I have already shown what is the fluid flow equation. And in structure, the governing equation is this: mass into x double dot, that is the acceleration, plus damping into x dot velocity, plus stiffness into x is equal to force. So that we all know, that is the governing equation of force. That force is stiffness into deformation, damping into rate of deformation or velocity, and a mass into acceleration, that is double rate of deformation. And in a matrix form, in a if I discretize the entire domain and write in different nodes in matrix form, it can be written that mass matrix into my acceleration matrix, plus damping into velocity matrix, plus stiffness. Here stiffness I have expressed in two components. One is the linear part, and one is the non-linear part. So if your deformation is more, you have to go for a non-linear analysis, and then your stiffness will be linear plus non-linear stiffness into deformation is equal to force condition. So if I can solve this governing equation along with my fluid flow equation, I can get a fluid structure interaction straight away. And what is fluid structure interaction? I said that because of the fluid flow, my surrounding walls are getting deformed, and because my surrounding walls are getting deformed, my geometry is changed, and because my geometry is changed, my fluid flow is changed. So a different fluid flow is now imparting a different type of pressure on the surrounding walls, and because it is a different type of pressure, my surrounding walls deformation is also different. So this is the essence of fluid structure interaction. Okay? A quick response from the participants. If it is okay, it is clear that what I am going to discuss. Anyone can respond.
Yes, sir, you can continue, sir.
Yeah, if there is no response, because it is an online class, so little danger is that, danger is that maybe my expressions are not that well. But anyway, I'll still continue. Uh,
Participants
so,
will, sir, for your information,
yeah.
participants will message and
Hmm.
it will be answerable at the end of the session. That's why,
Okay, sure.
sir. Sir.
Okay, sure.
Thank you,
Very
sir.
good. Okay. So I said that uh, fluid structure interaction is that I want to have a equation system together that I already have written. That fluid flow equation I have written. See, these are the fluid flow equation I have written: mass conservation and momentum conservation. As well, I have written my governing equation of uh, structural deformation. And solving this, unfortunately, solving these equations together, still we don't have a coupled solution system for these equations, which can give me a coupled solution of the entire equation system. So as I expressed that my fluid flow will impart some pressure on structure and that the structure will deform, and because of the deformation in the structure, fluid flow will again change. So this process I have to incorporate in terms of these coefficients. My stiffness may change because of the fluid flow, and that stiffness I have to incorporate in this equation. But I don't have a global equation system which can be solved at once to give me the solution. So this is the difficulty. This is the coupling is not established that way. So how do we incorporate the coupling? This is the question. How do we incorporate the coupling between the fluid and the structure? This is a very common wall boundary condition. You know that velocity dot n, that is the velocity perpendicular to the wall component, if we put 0, normally we put 0 if it is a stationary wall. In our fluid flow equation, u dot n is equal to 0 because there is no flow which is penetrating going normal to the wall. If wall has a velocity, that same velocity we give, it is for a moving wall, the fluid flow equation, we give the boundary condition that this wall is moving at that velocity, and that velocity can be given as u dot n. In this case, in fluid structure interaction at the boundary, because this structure is also moving, you imagine a oscillating aerofoil. So it is vibrating. And then all the wall, I know the velocity or the deformation rate at the wall. So what we say in structural mechanics, deformation rate, that is actually the velocity. The deformation rate of the foil should be same with the velocity of the flow there. If it is a no slip, if it is a wall boundary condition, that means no flow going perpendicular to the wall. The same way, the velocity component parallel to the wall also 0 for viscous flow, and that is the no slip boundary condition. And for this also, we can give u cross n is equal to x dot cross n. X dot is the deformation rate. So these are the two boundary conditions we will use to see the fluid structure interaction, that the boundary of the structure is moving in the same way. The motion of the boundary of a structure is compatible to the fluid flow. So this is a boundary condition. Through this we will incorporate. As well, my geometry will change, and because my geometry is changing, my domain dimension, domain definition is changing, description of the domain, fluid domain is changing, that I have to incorporate through a meshing, and I keep on remeshing at every iteration, and that is the way, iterative way, I take care of the effect of the deformation into the fluid flow, effect of the deformation of structure into the fluid flow. So this is the way we are practically doing. As I was saying that writing the equation, combined equation, is difficult, is not there. There are some work already done. This is the work of coupled 3D FEM BEM method. From literature, whatever I have found that a coupled 3D BEM FEM method is available. Actually, this was done in MIT. Carvin has written a code, PSF2 code, which is a vortex lattice method code for propeller flow. And on that code, there are some work. I have given the references here. This work I have taken from Hong et al. Hong's work in my last slide. I have the references. I'll just quickly come through the reference and I'll tell you. So this is the paper I was saying. Hong, they have shown that this PSF2 program, which is a vortex lattice method program, written at MIT by Carvin and his team, that is for propeller flow analysis. So on that code, PSF2 code, the structural analysis using a FEM method have been incorporated, and the mathematical explanation of that, mathematical expression of that is available in this reference. As well, this Young's paper, which I have referred here, the last paper, this shows the constitution of fluid structure interaction analysis with panel method and finite element method. So where is the third one says the vortex lattice method with FEM. The fourth one says panel method with FEM. So these mathematical formulations are available. This is the formulation given here for panel method. You see the perturbation potential is now expressed in two parts. One is phi plus psi. Phi is from fluid flow and psi is from structural deformation. And the mathematical evaluation of that is done here. So this is the mathematical expression of how to handle this FEM, BEM together. There is panel method and FEM together. And I'll just draw your attention to the last equation. You see the last equation. Here I write mass plus hydrodynamic mass, which is added mass coefficient. But this added mass coefficient I have to supply externally. See, this analysis is not getting my added mass coefficient. Now these added mass coefficients I estimate separately. That is the way Young has done actually, and incorporated it. And then it is coupled mass into acceleration is equal to again my damping plus damping coming from hydrodynamics into velocity plus stiffness into deformation is equal to the total force. This CE is Coriolis forces, this is centrifugal forces, CO is Coriolis forces, and H is the hydrodynamic forces. So again, that same equation comes, that force is equal to the entire force is equal to mass into acceleration plus damping into rate of deformation plus stiffness into deformation. So this is a concept of mathematical equation for fluid structure interaction using BEM and FEM. And as I said, you see, as I said, that coupling of fluid and structure, that is the essential, that how do I couple? See, there are two types of flow. One is weakly coupled fluid structure interaction. There is, because of the structural deformation, a very small alteration is happening to fluid flow. And these things can be solved with a segregated approach. When I say segregated approach, that means I solve the fluid flow equation at one compartment and then take the boundary conditions to another compartment, solve the structural equation, and again from there boundary condition and the deformation I carry to fluid flow equation, and again I solve the fluid problem separately. So because I am solving it segregatedly, I call it as a segregated approach. And a coupled approach is where I solve all this equation together. But as I said, unfortunately, there is no coupled approach available as of now today. I have not seen any such coupled approach except these two papers I have shown you. One is Young's paper, and that is another is Hong's paper. So not only these two papers, they have a school in MIT, and Hong's place is in Princeton University. You see that there is a team of people who are school of people who are working on this coupling of these equations, but you don't get any commercial code for that. And as of now, if you see the state of the art, mostly you will not see anything like a coupled approach being followed in fluid structure interaction. So, but when it is a strongly coupled system, when the coupling is very strong, like a high amplitude vibration, that time the coupling is very strong, it demands a coupled approach. But if you see today's industry status, all we solve using a segregated approach, which is actually appropriate and suitable for weakly coupled fluid structure system. See this weakly coupled fluid structure system, that segregated approach is suitable. But in industry, if you see today, for any coupled system, we use a segregated approach, and we incorporate the coupling through iteration. So if you see that solving and coupling, as I was saying, that there are two approaches. One is that partitioned approach or staggered or segregated. Another is monolithic approach or fully coupled. Now in this fully coupled, I am seeing that there is not much of development and there is not much of commercial code. At least commercial codes are not available at all over this monolithic approach. Whereas the partitioned approach, there are two different ways to do: one-way coupling and two-way coupling. And when the coupling is weak, we can do one-way coupling. That means every time step, I do not reiterate between fluid and structure. I do only once, every time step. In next time step, again I do. And in two-way coupling, in every time step, I do the iteration between fluid and structure. So this is mostly used one-way coupling and two-way coupling for fluid structure equation. So I say that governing equations are used in fluid flow solver and transient structural analysis. Coupling will coordinate for both solvers. So there are two different solvers. I have a fluid flow solver and structural analysis solver. I will introduce some coupling, mostly through iteration, to see these two solvers are giving a compatible solution. And during past 30 years, and over most coupled fluid structural dynamics problem have been solved by partitioned approach. So as I was saying, that mostly if you see all the fluid structure interactions problems are solved using partitioned approach. There is no such monolithic or a coupled approach developed in it. And this paper again I have mentioned because I have seen that PSF2 program, which I said is developed in MIT, Professor Carvin and his team. And there is some of FEM and vortex lattice method coupling available. And later in Young's paper, I have just now shown that BEM and FEM, that is panel method and FEM, have been coupled. Apart from that, in industry standard, it is mostly segregated approach. So when we say that one-way coupling and two-way coupling, as I said, that one-way coupling is that, see, this is my structural solver and this is my fluid solver. And I get a fluid solution So after getting the fluid solution, the pressure I get from here, I impart the pressure on this structure. So solve the structure and then go for next step. In the next step, again I solve the fluid, next time step. And next time step, I again solve the fluid flow, again get the pressure distribution. I go to structural solution and I solve with the new pressure distribution and go to the next time step. This is the one-way coupling. Whereas in two-way coupling, see here also this is my structural solver and this is my fluid solver. Then first I interpolate the displacement of fluid boundary, deform the fluid mesh and go for fluid solution. That means in the first time, first two steps are not available. I just are not required. First I go for a solution of fluid, then get the pressure distribution, sees that within the same time step, I see that pressure distribution is, because of the pressure distribution, structure is now deformed. I get a solution from structure, get this solution, deform geometry to fluid solver, interpolate the displacement of fluid boundary, deform the fluid mesh accordingly, again get a solution. So after getting the fluid solution, I take the pressure distribution, go to the structural solution, again run the analysis, get a deformed shape, then check if this deformation and the forces are converged. If no, I again go for the fluid solution and again solve it, get the pressure distribution, come to the structural solution, again solve the structure and see the deformed shape, take the deformed geometry to the fluid and keep on iterating. And once it is converged, I go to the next time step. This is the two-way coupling. So within every time step, I keep on doing the iteration, and once within the time step it is converged, I can go for the next time step. So for steady state flow, it is only two-way coupling is possible. And for steady state, we do the two-way coupling only. In one-way coupling, it is actually a rigid. If you have steady state solution, I try to do with one-way coupling. That means my wall is rigid wall and no deformation, or the effect of the deformation is negligible on fluid flow. So this is the coupling, one-way coupling and two-way coupling. So as I said, in the commercial software, regardless of whether one-way or two-way coupling methods are used, the solutions are based on partitions method. Partitions method, where I use a structural solver and fluid solvers segregatedly, and separate solutions I obtain and transfer the effect of the structural solver through a deformation, and that the remesh generate the mesh again in the fluid solver to incorporate the deformation effect. So this is the status, as I said, that is the industry status today, and that is the reason from none of my fluid structure interaction solver, like the added mass, effect of the added mass are coming directly. So added mass, the effect of the added mass I have to estimate separately, and if there is a acceleration term, that is mass into acceleration term is coming in the structural equation, that mass I have to use the actual mass plus added mass, and that added mass I have to get separately. If there is no such solver or commercial, at least commercial solver available, which can give me a comprehensive solution incorporating all the acceleration terms, particularly the added mass terms also. That's not available today. This is the page I have taken from ANSYS Workbench. I have used on ANSYS software and ANSYS Workbench, and so I just took the ANSYS Workbench page. And here you see that when you work in ANSYS Workbench, you have to solve a fluid flow solver like Fluent or something, and a transient structural solver. So you need to choose these two solver, structural solver and fluid flow solver, and then a system coupling. And that system coupling you have to define. You have to define the coupling, which geometry will go from structural solver to which geometry will go from structural solver to the fluid solver, and which forces will go from fluid solver to structural solver. That you have to define through system coupling. That is the way you define in ANSYS Workbench when working with Fluent and ANSYS mechanical software together. And this is the exactly the GUI will be visible to you. So you have to choose a structural solver and set up the structural solver. Then you have to take a Fluent solver or fluid flow solver, and there you have to relate that this geometry is related to this geometry. So you have to link these two geometry, that fluid solver and structural solver, which geometry is related, and then you have to make a setup, and in that setup you have to define that my what data transfer will be happening, and what pressure distribution will go to the structural solver, that you have to define through the system coupling. So this is the setup of the problem in ANSYS Workbench to start with a fluid structure interaction problem. We use commercial softwares, not only for ANSYS Workbench, Abacus, and many other softwares. They can be clubbed. CFX also can be clubbed, and this like Altair also have a workbench where you can use this structural and fluid flow solver together to solve this equation. I have found Abacus is pretty good in solving the structural dynamics, and Fluent I have used. Fluent is I am quite comfortable for using flow analysis. But I'll just discuss a few issues from my practical experience about the fluid structure interaction when I try to solve using the commercial softwares. So these are my experiences. I just want to share. I hope this is going on well. These participants and all, its connectivity and all are fine, and participants are okay with my presentation. I go to the next step. Is it okay? I assume so. I assume so. It is a online class, so I'm not very conversant with these online classes. So time to time, I get a doubt that whether my participants are with me or not. So anyway, I assume that all are okay. Everybody is with me. So here I will share few of the issues. So this is broadly I have discussed about the fluid structure interaction. What is the status? What is the mathematics behind fluid structure interaction? What are the governing equations? How they are to be solved, and how practically using software we solve it. Mostly I have said, and commercial softwares are now used to solve fluid structure interaction problem. Very exhaustively these are used, and I told you also how to use it in ANSYS Workbench using ANSYS Fluent and ANSYS mechanical system, which I personally used and I know about it. But there are few issues, so I'll just describe about few issues. See, in Workbench, when you use you want to solve a fluid structure interaction problem, say this is a propeller blade, and you want to see that if the propeller blade deforms, what is the effect in the fluid flow, and if that fluid flow is changing to a considerable amount, accordingly the pressure distribution is also changing, so my deformation is also changing. So I am trying to do a fluid structure interaction problem over a propeller blade. Now the issue will come in ANSYS Workbench is that I have a fluid domain all around the propeller blade. So over that domain, I have all the nodes and that volume around the propeller blade, that is the domain volume, is available with me in my fluid solution. But when I come to the structural solver, that domain around the propeller blade is of no consequence. My structural solver does not require that for volume around the propeller blade. What the structural solver requires is the volume inside the propeller blade. Now, if you see this left side picture, first picture, that blue colored picture, that actually shows the solid model of the propeller blade. And this solid model of the propeller blade is the requirement for the structural solver. Very good. So I have a solid domain inside the propeller blade that I can say that domain 1, which actually will be used for the uh, structural solver. But for the fluid domain, for the fluid solver, I require another domain, another volume around the propeller blade. That anyway I will be generating. I just show you some picture. If I have, I must have some picture. See, this is the fluid domain around the propeller blade. So for solving the fluid motion, I need a domain which is covering, which is encompassing the propeller blade, and that is the domain. So I generate a mesh over this domain for solving the fluid flow around the propeller blade. So I have two domains basically. I have two domains. One is solid model volume inside the propeller blade, and one around this thing. It's very good. When I say fluid structure interaction, and when I have to map these surfaces or the volumes, I have to map one to one. So what I will do, I will generate two volumes simultaneously, one inside the propeller blade, one outside the propeller blade. And when solving fluid flow equation, I define that inside volume is a solid and don't solve anything there. So outside volume, I solve the entire equation. And when I come to the structural solver, I solve only the internal volume. I don't actually import the other volume to the structural solver at all. This is also very good. So in my workbench, I have to define that this volume of the propeller blade should be mapped to the volume 1 inside the propeller blade for the fluid solver. So that mapping is also good. So there is no problem. Once I come with a volume to the structural solver for the propeller blade, this is a volume, so I have to use a solid element. So if I use a solid element in FEM solver, there is no problem. This analysis you can see, I have actually used a solid element. It is called solid 65 element, and I got these traces. And again, I have gone to the Fluent and solved the fluid flow equation. Absolutely no problem. Now the issue, I said there are some issues. The issue is that the structural solver, ANSYS structural solver, is not that advanced that its solid element, that solid 65 element, has many limitations. It cannot handle many things. Like it is a isotropic element model. So any anisotropic model it cannot handle. So the solid 65 has many limitations. It is a very preliminary, I say preliminary FE element, and it can do only a limited analysis. So but ANSYS has the feature of all its anisotropic analysis and advanced analysis with shell 181 element. And for a shell 181 element, it is not a solid, it is a shell element. So I need to come with a surface. So in a structural solver, if I use shell 181 solver element, I am using shell 181 solver element because for any anisotropic material or any complicated material, solid 65 does not work. I need to use shell 181 element. And to use shell element, I need only a surface. Now the question comes that which surface should I import? The propeller blade has two surfaces, face and the back. You can see here two surfaces, one side to encompass this volume. So I need to import one surface, that is face or back. If I import face, then all the pressure distribution from the flow solver I got over the face, that can come in. But what happened to the pressure distribution on the back of the propeller? That I cannot import directly, because that surface is not coming to solid solid mechanics solver as it is. So this is an issue. So in my analysis, I used some technique. I actually wrote a program, separate program, to pick up the pressure distribution from fluid solver and take the value and place over a surface, because I used the propeller blade as a surface when solving the structural mechanics part. So over the surface, I used shell 181 element and given all the material property to define the thickness and all. But the forces on the surface, which has been generated through ANSYS Fluent, cannot be directly imported from Fluent to ANSYS mechanics. So this is one issue. To be saying more precisely, see, when I have a solid element, this blade is like this, it is solid. Inside that material is taken, inside volume is taken for ANSYS structural analysis. Whereas if I use a surface and I take the complete surface, that face and back together, and I define it in ANSYS mechanical, then because it is a surface element, ANSYS will ask what is the thickness of the surface. And as soon as I give a thickness, this shell, what ANSYS will assume, will take a shape like this, my right side picture. So this is a shell which ANSYS mechanical will solve, whereas I want to solve a shell like this. So this is a discrepancy which exists in ANSYS, which will be happening with any solver. Actually, it will be happening with any fluid structure interaction solver, and I think this will have some issues. So that's what I want to say, that commercial softwares are available. They are solving fluid structure interaction in a segregated way. One way and two way coupling are available, but that is in a staggered way. And there will be some issues about this, like transferring the boundary, transferring the geometry, transferring the volume. There will be some issues. And if you have accompanied me so far on fluid structure interaction, then I assume that you will go to solve some fluid structure interaction problem in your assignments. So if you are solving any fluid structure interaction, there is a numerical benchmarking of fluid structure interaction available. It is a beautiful paper. It's a very good paper from Turek et al. I have given this also in reference. I am saying it is so good because it is a benchmark fluid structure interaction problem. So any of you at any time trying to solve any fluid structure interaction problem, before you go to your problem, try to model any of these problems which is defined in this paper, which is accepted as a numerical benchmarking of fluid structure interaction. In this paper, Turek's paper, he has described 2-3 problems, if I remember correctly. And there is a steady problem, there is an unsteady problem, and he has solved it in many ways, and he has taken from literature that who all others have solved it, and there are some analytical solutions also available for few places. Experimental solutions are also available, and he has compared all the results with experiment. And sorry, there is no analytical solution available for this problem. There is no analytical solution available, only computational solution available from different authors, and experimental solutions are available. So any of you, if you go for doing a fluid structure interaction problem, my suggestion will be that first you take one of these problems, solve it, and see that how good is your solution. If you are writing your own code, just see how good is your code. If you are using any commercial software also, just see that how good is your solution, and then you yourself will get a idea that how is it, how good it is. And then you can go for your actual solution. So I'll just describe one of the solutions which I have done from this paper. This paper describes 3-4 problems. I have taken one and I have solved it. See, this is a domain, rectangular domain. It is a 2D problem. And in that rectangular domain, one circular cylinder is kept, and there is a cross flow across the circular cylinder, and at the downstream of the circular cylinder, that is the trailing edge of the circular cylinder, there is a flexible strap like a rubber flap. Okay, now this cylinder is not kept at the center of the domain. It is kept little away from the center. If you see, this dimension is 0.41 meter. The breadth of the domain is 0.41 meter, and this point is 0, 0 or coordinate, and the center of the circle is 0.2. So it is not at the middle of the domain. It is little away from the middle of the domain, slightly away from the middle of the domain. So there is a slight asymmetry in the flow. So this is inflow. This side is left side is inflow. I don't know whether you can see my cursor or not. So this left side is inflow and right side is outflow. So flow is coming from left to right, and this is a 2D problem. So that the cylinder is an infinite cylinder, infinitely long, and it is receiving cross flow. And at the downstream of that cylinder, just behind the cylinder, there is a flexible flap, rubber flap. The dimension is given, and the inflow, velocity, and all are defined. This density is defined. The stiffness of this rubber flap, all are defined. So what I have done, I have taken this fixed cylinder and the flexible flap and did a hexahedral mesh around it. It's a 2D mesh. So this is the mesh, fluid flow mesh you have seen. I've taken, and then for this flap, I have done an FEM analysis using structural solver, ANSYS mechanical solver. And while using it, I have used a plane stress element. So plane stress element means whatever is happening in this direction, the other direction is infinitely long. So it is depicting a 2D solution. So be careful to choose the appropriate element. Here it has to be plane strain element because the other dimension is very long. If you try to take a shell element here, then the thickness of the shell will go perpendicular to this plane. That means it will be a limited thickness shell, and that will not depict your problem. So you will not be able to model the problem accordingly. So you need to take plane 182, plane stress element here. And I have taken that, and these are the results. You see that the force Fx, Fy on the cylinder, as well as the deformation of the flap end is tabulated here. And see, from my analysis and that paper what is available, I have compared. It is giving more or less a good agreement. So this is a validation problem for fluid structure interaction, and I have presented it to you with an advice that any of you are trying to do any fluid structure interaction problem, you can take this as a benchmarking problem. So with this, I have actually come to an end of my theoretical part of my presentation about fluid structure interaction. I can show you some case studies which I have carried out, and if you are interested, I can just quickly go through this remaining part of the presentation, which is mostly a case study. How do I use this fluid structure interaction concepts for solving a propeller flow analysis, a metal and a composite propeller flow analysis. This is actually forming a part of my PhD thesis also. And for that, Majumdar sir was my examiner. So examiner and student both are present here. I may run through this remaining part of the presentation. But before that, I just want to take a opinion from the audience. If you have any doubt, any question, I think please ask for the questions. We'll go through the question answer session, and then if time permits, we can still go through this remaining part of the presentation, which is a case study.
Yeah, Professor Das, actually, I was busy at that time. I'm Dr. Ashok Mishra, actually, who is communicating, is coordinator of FDB. Okay,
Sir, sir.
Good afternoon. I hope that you can continue up to 4:50, no problem. After that, question and discussion will be there.
Okay, then I'll go through with this remaining part of it.
Yeah. We can continue up to 4:30, no problem. But at 4:30, 4:15, we can go through that one. You can continue now.
Okay. So in this case study, my intention was to see for a marine propeller, this is the propeller geometry, a marine propeller, how it deforms, and if it deforms, whether the deformation I can take it to the advantage of that. So this is the propeller geometry. If you see the over the hub, the root section of the propeller is shown here. That flow, because it is rotating, propeller is rotating, and the propeller is connected to a ship, and ship is moving. So the propeller will see two different flows. One is because due to the velocity of the ship, and one is because it is rotating. So these are the two components of the flow. It is seeing velocity of the ship and the rotating component of the propeller. And because of that, it is seeing a resultant velocity coming onto it, and that is coming at an angle, and propeller blade is kept in such a way that this flow hits the propeller at a particular angle, and that angle we try to optimize so that the propeller thrust generated.
Sorry for interruption, Professor. Yeah, slide is not moving. Na same slide you are continuing.
This is a
fluid structure interaction.
This is a optimal operation of propeller.
I think it is stick actually. It is not moving. If possible, then you can answer and again share. But now the slide is showing fluid structure interaction.
Fluid structure interaction. That is the first slide, is it?
Yeah. I think it is not moving. I think.
That is my name and all are there. That is this slide.
No. Fluid structure interaction. Numerical benchmarking of fluid structure interaction. Turek et al. 2010.
1 minute.
Number
me identify
17.
Which slide.
Number 17 slide.
Number 17 slide. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fluid structure interaction. Okay. This is the benchmarking I was saying. And I just changed to 18th slide. Is it visible?
No, not visible.
Then I will stop the sharing. I'll share once more.
Yes, that is better. ये वीडियो करती हो Hello, Mr. Deepak Kumar. Can you please switch off your video? Mansa Kumari, Miss Manusha Kumari, please switch off your video. Dr. Das, any problem is there?
Just a minute. I shared it. Is it visible?
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah.
It is coming. Chandas started screen sharing.
Yeah. Is this visible? This screen is visible now?
No, no, no. Still, it is yet to come.
This may take some time depending on the net speed. Is visible now?
No.
Want to know only the if your flow is steady.
Yes, sir.
One thing is that if your flow is steady,
Yes,
then
sir.
you may not require a moving mesh.
Okay.
A moving reference frame itself will give you the solution,
Okay.
which is computationally less intensive,
Than the moving
but
mesh.
you get your answer. But
Okay.
if your flow is, say, it is not perpendicular to the turbine, there
Yes.
are some unsteadiness. Means
Okay.
it is a little away at angle. It is coming, and there may be any other reason. See, your turbine is starting, so its RPM is slowly building up. So that time it is an unsteady flow. So if it is a complete unsteady flow, you have to go for a moving mesh, as you have said.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
if you have to go for moving mesh, please go for moving mesh.
Yes,
And
sir.
still, this both the type of remeshing, as well as means one is for your moving mesh as well as for your fluid structure interaction. Both can be taken care of by this commercial software, depending on the hardware you have. You should have a powerful computer system.
Okay. Sir, thank you, sir. Sir, I have one more question, sir. Sir, you have told about equation for modeling FSI, like that mass into acceleration plus the damping coefficient into velocity or the deformation rate. Sir, in that equation, we finally have a force term on the right side, right, sir?
Yes.
Sir, are we solving this as a separate equation, or are we putting this force term on the right as a source term in some of the governing equations? How are we solving it, sir?
This force terms is coming from your fluid solver.
Yes, sir.
This force is one is a pressure force from your hydrodynamic analysis or your fluid flow analysis.
Okay.
Another is your centrifugal force. If it is rotating, then maybe Coriolis forces. All the
Okay.
forces are together. So this you take to the structural solver
Yes,
and do a FE analysis to
Okay.
get the deformity.
Okay. Okay. So my doubt was that you said that there is a difficulty in using a coupled system, and right now we are mostly depending on the segregated system. So my
Yeah.
doubt was that, sir, this force that we are computing from the fluid interaction, if we are, well, after computing this force, if we are putting this force back as a source term into our momentum equation, can it provide us a coupling?
Yes, it can provide a coupling, and that is the coupling we are doing. But are you solving it together? You are not solving it together.
Oh,
No?
at a time we are not
that
solving. Yes, sir.
equation
Understood.
system. There is no way. What you said is correct.
Yes, sir.
It should be solved like that. But I have not found any software or any solution system who solves it simultaneously. Taking these forces and adding it in your source term of momentum equation, you rightly said it should be added in the source term of the momentum equation. But I have not found any such solution in the literature.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, understood, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your explanation, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I see some of the questions now in this chat box also. So from
Hello?
Mr. Mohan Rao, sir, inertia forces from fluid flow are transferred to the structure along with pressure. Yes, my answer is inertia force will be inertia force from inertia force are also
Exactly.
a part of the force. As I said just now, I said that these are the centrifugal force and Coriolis forces, but that you have to estimate externally and give to the structural solver. Okay, is it okay? Answer.
Sir, another question. Hello.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Why hexahedral element is used for 2D problem?
Hexahedral element cannot be used for 2D problem. If you are saying hexahedral element, it means quad actually, quadrilateral element. In 2D problem, any hexahedral means it is a quad element. In my presentation, did I mention somewhere hexahedral for 2D solution? Did I mention hexahedral element for a 2D problem? If so, that means quadrilateral element.
Right.
Which is commonly understood in CFD. If I am
Yes.
saying TET for
Right.
2D means it is a triangle, and
Yes.
hexahedral for 2D means it is a quad.
Anybody else? RC Mohanty.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I am RC Mohanty. Actually, this was my question. Actually, why you have mentioned there in the slide that is the hexahedral. Of course, you have clarified the point that it's not hexahedral, it is quadrilateral. My second question is, this is you are discussing about a coupled analysis, that is the structural analysis and your fluid flow analysis. You have coupled it.
Yes.
Again, structural analysis also two types are there. One is steady state analysis, that is the static structural analysis, or this transient structural analysis. And
Yes.
for this particular problem, you have taken static structural analysis or transient structural analysis. Which one you have taken?
See, for the benchmarking I have shown, I have used static analysis, but that entire program includes a transient analysis also. I have not done it. I have not shown it, but
I
that
think
paper includes a transient analysis.
it should be transient structural analysis should be there, because I think the output is coming, output in the form of pressure is coming from the fluid solver, and that is the input to the structural solver. And that pressure also is not constant. In every iteration, I think the pressure value is changing. So it is a function of time. That's why the structural analysis should be selected as transient structural instead of static structural. Am I correct, sir?
No, see, if your problem, you have to see what is the problem. If your problem is a steady state analysis, that means which
what
time it is
problem we
not
are
changing.
discussing here, that is a benchmarking problem. For that problem, which structural analysis, there are two types are there. One is static structural, or there is transient structural.
Yeah. So the benchmarking problem, what I have shown you is a steady state problem. It is a steady state problem, and which time the deformation is fixed.
Why the steady state taken is there? What is the reason behind? Steady state means the load on the structure should remain constant throughout the time.
Yes.
I think every iteration, the output from the fluid solver in the form of pressure is the input to the structural solver.
Yes.
And that pressure also changing, or is constant pressure?
No, that pressure is changing. If it is a steady problem, that pressure is not changing. You imagine a fluid a cylinder, circular cylinder. Okay, you just keep a circular cylinder, and one flow is coming over it and going. So that flow is coming which time that is constant. You imagine a condition like that. So one constant flow, that is steady flow, is coming and going over that cylinder. Now it is a steady problem unless you consider that vortex shading, that is a separate part. Okay, vortex shading, if you consider it, becomes an unsteady. You ignore that for the time being. If you ignore that, neglect that vortex shading part. So you have a cylinder over that, there is a steady flow, and it gives you a steady pressure. So you see which time pressure is steady, pressure will remain constant. So if your problem is like that, you can take it steady. In the benchmarking, the reason is that it is a benchmark problem. It is for benchmarking your own codes and all. It is meant that somebody may want to use it for a steady problem, somebody may want to use for unsteady problem. That's why all the types of problems have been given there. So one steady problem and one unsteady is also given there. So what I described is a steady problem, but there is an unsteady problem also. And if you are actually using your solver for an unsteady analysis, you can use that also.
Okay.
But this problem being a steady, there is no problem. It can happen. There are some problems which are steady problem. And if somebody wants to use steady problem, there is nothing wrong that he uses a steady problem.
Okay, sir.
What is the method to calculate displacement of tail building due to wind load after simulation in ANSYS VFX?
Sorry, can you repeat the questions once more?
What is the method to calculate displacement of tall building, displacement of tall building due to wind load after simulation in ANSYS VFX?
Sorry, there is some audio disturbance. Can you repeat once more the question?
What am I audible, sir? Am I audible?
There is some disturbance. It is audible. I try to understand once more, please.
Hello, sir. Is it audible, sir?
Yeah. Audible.
The question is, what is the method to calculate displacement of tall building due to the wind load after the simulation in ANSYS CFX?
Displacement of
Tall building. I think it is a high building that I want to ask.
Oh, okay. Displacement of a tall building. Okay. So what is the question? Displacement of a tall building. What you want to do?
What is the method to calculate displacement of the tall building due to wind load after simulation in ANSYS CFX?
Oh, see, these tall buildings displacement will be quite small. If you take my opinion, the tall buildings displacement will be quite small to affect the fluid flow problem. Means really you may not require a fluid structure interaction to solve such a problem. But nonetheless, there will be some displacement and there will be some effect. So how large the effect is the question. But if you want to do it, you need to model that structure. So tall structure you need to model with a structural solver using ANSYS or any of these. That tall building, you can model it like a beam also. See, the entire stiffness of that building can be modeled and it can become a beam element. So, so it will be like just similar to the benchmark problem what I have given. So in that the cylinder is a object. In this case, the cylinder, there will be no cylinder. It will be just resting on the base, and then the flap, whatever I have shown you, the flap, similar to that flap, that tall building can be modeled. And you can model in the same way in ANSYS mechanics as well as in the Fluent to get the fluid flow. Is it clear? Specifically where you want, if you want some more details about specific modeling in any of these parts?
I think the participant got the answer, sir. There is another question. What is the difference between ANSYS CFX and ANSYS Fluent?
See, long time back, CFX was a different company and Fluent was a different company. So they made two different software. And down the line, sometime ANSYS has procured both the companies. So this is more a business policy than the technique. This is more a business reason than a technical reason. So ANSYS, because of getting the market and killing the competitor, they bought both the companies. So earlier we are trying to say that I will not buy CFX, I will buy Fluent, like that. So to kill that competition, ANSYS both the companies. And after that, ANSYS made two units in that. One is CFX and one Fluent. If you tell me the comparison between Fluent and CFX, I will say that for turbo machinery, CFX has a strength. At least initially, in the beginning, CFX had a strength in turbo machinery. And they had a G turbo grid also, easy to make grid for turbo machinery. And Fluent had strength on external flows. For hydrodynamics, Fluent has strength initially, traditionally speaking. But now I think both are comparable, both maybe all the same.
Sir, I like to add one question here. Is these two softwares using the same methodology, means finite volume method?
Yes, finite volume method.
In
Navier-Stokes equation and finite volume method. Yeah, that I know.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions you participants can ask? I think no questions are there, sir. Thank you for the.
I think I still can read from chat box few
Sir.
questions. One question I see that, can you know the physical significance of M, C and K? So sorry, I did not see that time. M stands for mass, C stands for damping, and K stands for stiffness. And I see how does the wall boundary condition come? Wall boundary condition comes when you have a flow and that is interacting with a bounded wall, means a rigid wall. So there wall boundary condition comes, and wall boundary conditions means there will be no flow penetrating the wall, and for a viscous flow, no flow along the wall also. So that is the way wall boundary condition comes. I will just see few more questions. In fluid structure interaction problem, what level for accuracy can be expected? In fluid structure in problems, what level for accuracy can be expected? I really don't know the answer of this question. What level of accuracy can be expected? But I can tell you that accuracy can be refined depending on the mesh, depending on the flow scheme, and depending on the element you choose for the structural analysis. And if your structure is not a isotropic material, the model you use for this structure also gives, it is, the model also gives the level of accuracy. So it is not for fluid structure interaction. For fluid analysis, the accuracy you expect because of some reasons, the mesh, the turbulence, the scheme you use. Same way, the accuracy level you get for the structural mechanics problem, both together are present in fluid structure interaction also. Then what else? How can we analyze fluid flow inside a tube and tube is also rotating with some angular velocity? Tube is rotating with some angular velocity, then you choose it with a moving reference frame, and that angular velocity you give as a moving reference frame, and the center of origin of the rotation you define. So, and mesh the tube and mesh the flow inside that. So with a moving reference frame you have to use for that. Please tell how to start learning CFD and what are the good resource study material. This is from Avinav Talwar. Avinav, I think this is the last question amongst all these things. So I'll take this question. You say that How to start learning CFD? Abhinav, one question: you are in the Centurion University or not?
No, he does not belong to Centurion University. Some other university.
Yeah. Okay. No, but why I ask this? Because if you are in Centurion University, then you have Professor Shekhar Majumdar. He is a very renowned person. He is a very well-known person in India. He is called the Guru of Turbulence. So Professor Majumdar, if you go to Professor Majumdar, that is the easiest way to learn CFD. But if you are not in Centurion University, I'll tell you that you take the book of Junior Anderson. Okay, computational fluid dynamics for aerodynamic studies by Junior Anderson. So that is like a storybook. You can read like a storybook. And then if you are trying to use a commercial software, best way to sit with somebody who knows the software. If you are trying to use Fluent, instead of learning alone, better maybe sit with somebody who is conversant with Fluent. And if you sit with a person who knows Fluent, you can start modeling and do that. Read that book, Junior Anderson's Computational Fluid Dynamics for Aerodynamic Application. And another book I will tell you, that is Versteeg and Malala-Shekhara, Computational Fluid Dynamics. So this will give all the mathematical formulation of that. After reading this Versteeg and Malala-Shekhara, you will be able to write your own equation about finite volume method and all. So I think you can start with these two books. Yeah, so I think I have seen all these questions. Sorry, I have not seen during my lecture, the chat box I have not seen. And few questions was that time itself you have asked. Sorry, I have not responded. Anyway, now I think I have responded most of the questions.
Yeah. Over. So thank you, Professor Das, for delivering a nice talk and presentation also on fluid structure interaction with this. So I now request all participants just to switch on your video. We'll take a photo session. Sekhar sir, are you there? Please join us. Dr. Das, your hometown is from Odisha?
I am from Bengal.
Oh, Bengal. Achha, achha.
My hometown is Kolkata.
Achha, achha. Because Das is there, that's why I'm wondering. Might be from Odisha. Oh, Das also in Kolkata. Yeah. Oh, once we visit Visakhapatnam, we'll visit you definitely.
Sure, sure. Then come to this laboratory, Naval Science and Technological Laboratory.
Sure, sure.
You are most welcome.
Okay. So thank you, sir. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir.
Namaskar. You have kept a copy of this video recorded this lecture.
Yes, we'll send it to you.
May I get a copy?
Definitely, sir. Definitely. With photo, everything I will send.